All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, do I have a treat for you? All the way from Atlantic City. Y'all know that place, over east, boardwalk, all that good stuff. Please put your hands together for Talasia.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Honestly, I'm honored. Thank you for having me on this platform.
Look, let me tell you something right now, Miss Talasia. I treat people like family when they come onto this platform. So this is going to be like home. And man, I'm going to treat you like family. Good family. Now, I ain't going to treat you like the bad family.
Not like the bad ones, right?
Good family. Good family. The ones that I want to come around. All right.
That's right.
So let's just dive right into it. For those of you who, just don't know, like, who's Talasia? What is all this? How? I don't understand. Slow your roll. Okay. Just slow down. All right. Gospel singer, songwriter. Okay. I want to talk about this single Rejoice, as pretty much as we were speaking before we started recording. I seen the video. I love the message, and I love the video as well, but I really love the message behind Rejoice. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Of course, yeah. Rejoice is our first single that we put out back in 2018. And actually, Rejoice was written some years ago. All of the music that we're putting out now was written years ago. And Rejoice actually was a hook that was in Quentin's head. Quentin is my drummer / producer. He helps me produce and write my music. And the hook of it was in his head actually since the time he was a child. And he sung it to me one day. And actually, we were both at a place that we kind of just were coming out of, struggling in a couple of areas. And so we decided to be real. We wrote about it. We wrote about some of our experiences, some of experiences that we just knew others were going through, a lot of things. And we didn't even know unemployment was going to hit as hard as it hit. Fast forward now to COVID. But God knows all things, just as far as divine timing is concerned. But these were really some issues that a lot of people go through. And we honestly just wanted people to be able to change their perspective like we did. We serve God and we believe in God, and we really had to trust God in a lot of dark seasons. And so we wrote about that experience and how, we realized there was no point to go through kind of just like, with your head down about it, because God was going to bring you out anyway. So it's like, you already know you have the victory. You change your perspective, and going through doesn't hurt as much, and it doesn't, weigh as much on you because your mind is just changed about it. So yeah, that's where Rejoice came from. And we always do ministry first. We love music and we love, being creative in music, but ministry is always first. And we want to make sure that we're leaving encouraging and thought-provoking messages for people, in our songs.
Okay, see, first of all, let me just say, look, I like it already because of the mindset. And usually that's where it starts, like, as you said, no one knew what was coming, like, maybe a year, maybe like a year and a half after that. But that song really relates to a lot of things going on now, even though you may have written it in, but that's how it's something timeless. Like when you can just take it and pull it out and play it, and you can really feel like everything that you're saying in the song and how that relates to everything that's going on now, homelessness, unemployment, like people struggling with mental health, things of that nature. Like that song speaks to a lot of people. So you got yourself something there, Talasia. I'm telling you right now, you got yourself something. All right.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your beginnings in music. Now, I know you were in, the Abundant Life Choir, but before we even get into that, I want to talk about your mom and how she was a major influence, on you. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely. Well, from the time that I was born, my mom said when I started talking, I started singing. So that was around 2 years old, but it was only because my mom used to sing. My mom, she raised me in church. So I grew up in church. I grew up singing on the choir, but prior to that, I watched her write her own music. My mom, when she was younger, she actually was singing secular music at the time. And she wrote, secular music. She used to go to the studio and come home, and I would sneak and go play her tapes. She wouldn't let me listen to them, but I would sneak and go play her tapes. And I just really admired my mom. I admired everything about her, how she dressed, how she sung. I guess you can just say like I modeled myself after her. And yeah, she's really what really sparked the love of music for me when I was young, and she realized that I wasn't going to stop singing. She got me my first couple of CDs that was very influential in my life. Kiera Sheard and Brandy's Full Moon album, and we listened to Deborah Cox on repeat, and Anita Baker, and just so many of the greats. You know what I mean? I got it all. I got the Kirk Franklin. I got it all when I was younger. So I have such a deep appreciation for that because that's such a huge part of who I am now. So yeah, Mama really started it all, and thank God that she raised me in God because I wasn't really pressed to sway from singing about Him. Even though I loved R&B and I loved hip hop and I loved all those genres of music, I found a way to be able to make my music purposeful, as in singing about God. But I still get to listen and sing and write to the music that I love. So I really thank God for this journey because it's also purposeful, but I love it. It's my passion, so it's fun doing it.
Okay, all right. Now, see, I ain't want to put that you played a little bass in there, but now I mean, I'm just saying,
Well, it's actually something that I want to do. I play around with a couple of things. When I was younger, I was in school and I took a couple of piano lessons, and I was messing around with the flute, and I kind of just make my way around just because I love music. But I definitely want to perfect my craft in all areas and learn how to actually play the guitar and the piano and the bass and get good at it. And I wouldn't say I'm good at it. I would just say I dibble dabbled here and there.
nothing wrong with a little dibble dabble here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you taking the time to learn something that you have interest in. And what I like about all that is, basically what you're talking about is culture, music culture, not only from the gospel, section, but from the secular section as well, like all these elements, mixed together, like you're hearing all these sounds, you're hearing all these tones, you're hearing these notes from high to low to, loud to quiet, like all of that makes up, pretty much who you are right now. And, going forward is what have you. So I really think that's great. Really.
Thank you.
But I just want to ask now, look, now, I know you were in the choir, but you left the choir basically to go focus on your own sound. Now, I understand because I've talked to artists all the time, and I've talked to gospel artists who have crossed over, into the R&B, field or what have you. And, a lot of people, talk about music evolving, how they had to evolve. Something was speaking to them. They still kept the gospel aspect in it, but they, cross over a little bit and add that, R&B flavor to it. But I always say, like, everybody speaks in their own different ways. But before I even get into that question, I have to ask this question. In your opinion, how has gospel music evolved over the years?
Well, what I would say first is that, I definitely, though I grew up in church and I grew up on the choir, I never actually left the choir. I still sing in church and I still sing on the praise team and all of that. It's just when it came to doing my own music, I decided to sing a different genre of music. And this is where my battle came in. In my spiritual journey, it started first there. And, and growing, because I grew up in the church, I had a very good aspect of how things were, and I've always been a good observer. I just watch everything and I take it in. And as I was growing in church, and actually getting to want a relationship with God for myself, certain things just didn't sit right with me. Like, why? I kind of felt like we boxed God in. You know what I mean? We boxed God in as to what His music sounds like, what His praise looks like. What His services should look like. We kind of really, really boxed Him in. And I don't think God ever asked for that. And so when I started growing in my spiritual journey, I started really seeking God for myself. And I started realizing, like, wait, hold on. He's the God of like every culture, every race, every sound of music. Who do you think created it? You know, who do you think gave the order to create it? And so even in all that, I started to realize like we labeled the gospel sound ourselves. God didn't say that this is what my sound sounds like. And so I began to have confidence in what God gave me to give to people, and that my sound is gospel. And the reason why it's gospel is because that message that you're always going to hear in my music is gospel. It's the gospel of Christ. You're always going to hear that. However, the sound of music, R&B, trap, jazz, you might hear different sounds, but he's the God of that too. It's the message of what you're talking about that distinguish what type of music you're singing. And so for me, I decided that I don't want to be put in a box about what type of music I'm going to put out. My music is going to be consistent with the message in that it's the gospel of Jesus Christ. However, I'm going to do it my way. And I love all different sounds of music, and God can get the glory out of all different sounds of music. So I stand bold in the ministry that God gave me, and I just walk in that because that's who I am. I stay true to me. And, you know, I realize that church people are accepting of it. It's just not what they're used to. And sometimes change is hard and it's different, but they have to realize that God evolves, and that's why music evolves, and that's why the methods of winning souls evolves. Everything evolves. And I think that the more you try to box God in, you're stopping what he's trying to do, and you got to get out of his way. So that's how I view music, and that's how I view God and his evolving what we do here on earth. And yeah, I love this conversation because I'm so passionate about it. I'm passionate about ministry. And I think it's a deeper conversation that can't really be covered in an hour. But, you know, talking about it and starting the conversation, I love being a part of that, because I believe that that's breaking chains just in what we do on a daily basis. And so, yeah, that's my view on it.
Okay, well, kid. Well, first of all, I'm just gonna tell y'all she gave y'all church right there. Y'all just don't know it yet. So, man, look here, just gave y'all church. Second of all, let me just say thank you. You know, because I believe in informative content. You know, this won't be the final conversation, but this can be the conversation to start other conversations. You know,
absolutely.
You know, everybody does their own thing a little bit different. You know,
right.
And speaking of which, because you just spoke on it, and I know we spoke about this before, and you know, everybody talks to God in different ways. All right. We have to get away from the traditional way, you know, or how it, you know, people expect things to be, you know, as you said, you know, people are, you know, accepting, you know, okay, what she's saying is real. It's just not sounding the traditional way that I would like for it to sound. So
right.
we're going to flip that over into people who are, you know, I mean, man, look, everybody has struggles. Everybody has, you know, trials and tribulations that they go through, peaks, valleys, what have you, you know.
Absolutely.
We all talk in our own way to God. So let me ask you, how do you feel your music reflects those who are taking the non-traditional way of, you know, talking to God?
Yeah, I think that well, what's starting to happen, I feel like, is that, you know, God is doing something different in this season. We all understand how, you know, fast change can happen, and just dealing with COVID and the aftermath of COVID, you know, change can happen like that. And if God says the world needs to shut down, now the world is going to shut down. That's just how it happens. And so I think people's eyes are starting to be open to, you know, God doing new things, you know what I mean, and change. And I think what happens in that is that God can start to work miracles because people are out of his way, and people stop limiting what he can do. And so for me, you know, I really, really believe that, you know, just in this time in general, I think that it's not really so much about getting away from what we used to do, because I have an appreciation for that. That's my childhood. You know, that's my principles and my foundation stand on that, hand clapping, foot stomping church. So I wouldn't say getting rid of it. I would just say being open to the new methods that God is using to now win souls. A lot of the people on the streets, you know, and I'm talking about the drug dealers. I'm talking about those from the hood, and I'm from the hood, so you know, I'm talking about the crackheads and prostitutes, the people that won't really feel comfortable to step into a church because they don't feel like I'm dressed like them. I don't, you know, really relate to that music. They'll listen to some trap music though, and that's why you have to kind of be able to understand that music is a vehicle. You use it as a vehicle for a purpose. And if they will listen to a trap beat and I can get you to listen to something that's about God and that's something that will change your life, if you just look at God differently and accept him on a deeper level, then that's ministry. And so we understand just how powerful music is, and we are using it intentionally, and we're being intentional about winning souls from the people who won't step foot in the church and don't relate with the church service of how we do things, the things that I'm used to. And that's really what it's about. It's about being inclusive. It's not about shutting anybody out or, you know, getting rid of anything. It's about including those who we aren't reaching right now. And that's really what my goal is.
Look, y'all didn't think y'all was just not gonna get this gospel today. Y'all gonna get this gospel. I mean, over the interview, but y'all getting this gospel today. All right. But no, look, I couldn't say it any better myself. You know, like you said, you know, there are people out here, they're not going to step foot in the church because of, you know, the dress, the music, or just their own like personal beliefs, you know, growing up or what have you, if they grew up in a traditional, you know, household or what have you. But it's not like that, you know, they don't have anything to say or they don't have anything to offer. They do, you know, like we all need saving. We all need praise. I'm praying for, you know, like doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hindu, Mexican, Asian, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like we all need that, you know, pretty much at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see you over there. I see you. Okay. So now look, let's talk about some fun stuff right here, cause man, look, November 4th now, okay, ladies and gentlemen, y'all like what's going on November 4th? I'm gonna slow your roll. We having a release party. Well, Talasia having a release party.
It's our release party.
Well, okay, all right. It's gonna be our release party. You know, she's making a universal for us people. All right, there you go. But no, on November 4th, you're having a release party for Everybody Gonna See.
That's right.
Tell me about this song. And first of all, I love the name, but tell me about this song.
Thank you. I was very worried about that, but I was like, you know, I'm staying true to me, and sometimes I like to get ratchet, and this is how we gonna say it today. You know, I know how to be classy and professional, but I have a ratchet side. We're gonna be ratchet today. So yes, so the song is called "Everybody Gone See," not gonna, not going to, but gone see, like you down south. And this song is really just, I feel like it's a magically fun song. It's very upbeat and it's full of energy, but I would call it a Jesus chant. When I was younger, I remember, first of all, everywhere that I went, and even growing up in school, people knew I was a church girl. They identified me with church. And I was still, you know, true to myself. So they knew, okay, she's a ratchet church girl who loves God. And I wanted to actually write about one of the experiences I had when, you know, a lot of times I've had to argue my faith throughout my life, especially now that time has, you know, gone past a little bit and information is now easier to reach. And so the more information that's out there, whether true or not, people have it. And, you know, they like to question and or challenge your faith a lot of times. And, you know, for me, I had to deal with that. And, you know, I wanted to just write a song that would just resonate with people, but reaffirming my God and the God that I serve. I'm sure about him. I'm so sure about him. I bet my life on it. And so this song is basically just about telling people who Jesus is. He's Lord and King. He's coming back. The song literally starts out by saying, when you crack the sky, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that you are God. And I love it. It's literally one of my favorite songs. I wrote the song from beginning to end, and so it's like my little baby. And I'm really excited to just, debut it to people. I've been singing it live for a couple of years, just getting, the people locally introduced to it. But I'm so excited to, premiere it live. We actually just did it, for the first time at Atlanta's Soul Festival, Taste of Soul Festival in Atlanta.
All right, ATL.
And yes, and we are actually going to an award show next week. So
Yes, you are in
they
Charlotte,
get
North
to hear it.
Carolina. Yes.
Yeah, they get to hear it first. But we're excited. We're working, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. November 4th, guys, we'll be dropping the single at 12 a.m. and having the concert that night at 7 p.m. So I'm excited about it.
Now, where can they hear the single when it's dropped?
Oh, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on Pandora, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you can buy music, you'll be able to find it.
Okay. All right. All right. So now look, I want to ask you this question because, I just heard you explain, and very like eloquently, just like, even talking about everybody gonna see, like this is your baby. In your opinion, like I know, man, we're coming out of the pandemic now, so everybody's starting to be more social or what have you. But during that time, like musically and spiritually, how did you grow?
Wow. Well, let me just say this. A lot of times when you're doing anything that puts you in any type of like limelight, people see the good moments and they see your achievements. Most of the time, what they don't see is the suffering behind closed doors, right? And a lot of times, I always tell people that God makes me walk what I talk. He does not allow me to write about something that I ain't living or something that I'm not sure about. When I wrote Rejoice, there were still moments, and we put Rejoice out in 2018. So many moments after that where God made us walk what we talk with Rejoice. Like, are you still going to rejoice now if I take your job and your bills are due? And this is years later now. Like, you still going to walk what you talk when you wrote that song. And it's like, he tries us on the levels that, we're able to speak about as far as it concerns him. And so through this pandemic, I'm not going to lie to you, God really humbled me so much, so much. I would even say he stripped me of almost everything I loved in a season. It was just like, relationships and my family having health problems. And, at one point they were saying my stepdad was going to die and he had to get his hand amputated. It was just so much stuff going on at once in the middle of COVID that I dealt with. Um, and, it was definitely moments where it was challenging for me mentally and physically. And, I still had to choose to wake up every day and believe in the God that I was so sure about, even though I was suffering. And the Bible has a scripture in there that says, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And it's like, it's those moments that make it real for you about, do you really believe in what you say you believe in? And, I believe that those moments, God really, really made me grow, because now it's just, I feel like, even in doing this journey, whenever you're doing something that's going to bring glorification to God's kingdom, the enemy is coming. He's two-piecing and he's trying to figure out how he can come shut it down. And so we're still dealing with obstacles coming our way. But I think for us, it's just about relying on what we know. And what I know is that, God promised something, it's going to come to pass, because he's not a man that he will lie. So I'm just going to keep on working, and I'm just going to keep on pushing on and pressing through and having faith. And for me, that is growing your faith in him. It's a relational thing. It's really not just this thing where you go to church and you sing and all of that. It's really something that you have to live during your life. If he says he's taking your best friend from you, he's taking your parents, he's taking your friends, are you going to not serve him anymore? Will you start blaming God for the things that you're suffering with on earth? It's just, there's so many things and parts to it that can challenge your faith in this walk. And I've been challenged. So I would definitely say these past 2 years, God has breaking me down to basically make me into this person that has so much faith in him. Even now, even having gone through suffering, I have so much more faith in him, and it really makes me just love him more. So as far as me spiritually, I believe that that is really first, and that's where all the creativity comes from, because I write about my experiences, and I really, really believe this thing. I live this thing. And so for me, it's not all peaches and cream, but I stand on his word and I stand on his promise. I'm not wavering.
Okay. Hey, look, y'all heard it. I ain't even said it. She just told y'all what it was. Okay, look, oh, look. Mic drop. Okay, man, look, no. I can even put it into words, but I think that's phenomenal, because it's like through it all, faith will be tested. And at the end of the day, are you not still going to hold true to who you are in the end, or are you going to like switch, flip and be like, you know what, this has happened and, that's happening. Forget it, but if you say, man, if that's what the foundation is in the belief, and man, I know it's going to be all right, despite all these other obstacles and turbulent, times or whatever, man, at the end of this tunnel, I see the light, you know what I'm saying? And once I go towards it, man, I know, okay, you know what? Yes, that was rough, but I'm still here. I'm still standing.
And I'm stronger now. I'm wiser now.
That's what
I'm ready to fight. You know what I mean?
Hey,
the enemy.
Come on with it now. Come on now. Okay, Talasia, man, look. Stop it now, okay? They're getting too much now. No. So if people want to get in contact with you via social media, websites, emails, things of that nature, how can they do so?
Yes. So I try to make it easy for y'all, make it really generic on everything. Every single social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything is Talasia Music. And that's TALASIAMUSIC. So Talasia Music on everything. Follow me, I follow back. I'm not one of those people who don't follow back, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where you can find me. Stay up, to date on everything that we're doing. And also you can visit my website, which is www.talasiamusic.com. Same spelling. And yeah, stay connected with us.
Okay, that's what, hey. Stay connected, y'all. Talasia Music, okay, .com. Man, hit her up, you know what I'm saying? Let her know, man, you appreciate everything she's doing. Man, leave a great message about the music she's making, because the music is great and it hits home.
Thank you so much.
Seriously. No problem. Now look, I'll come to my last question, and I'm kind of mad because we've been having church. We've been having the gospel now, okay? But I got to ask this question because this is what my show is known for, so I'm going to present it to you. Miss Talasia, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
The one word. I would say unique. I would say unique because, well, first of all, you're not going to find many Talasias out there. However, if you do, I guarantee you that we're very different. I am just full of surprises. I'll say that to keep it short. I love to do a little bit of everything. I'm a comedian, literally a stand-up comedian on weekends. On weekdays, you'll see me running a corporate office, and when I get off of work, you'll see me being ratchet. You just never know what you're going to get. So I would definitely say unique, just to keep it short.
Hey, look. I'm going to say culture, and I'm going to tell you why. Basically, everything you just said, all right? Like, that starts from somewhere, and you're still staying true to who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not like, out here like faking the funk for whatever, out here trying to get clout on this, that, and the other. No, it is what it is. And I've been, brought up to be, who I am, through people who are great. You know what I'm saying? I have great people around me. Sure. Have I gone through things, Yeah. Who don't? You know what I'm saying? But because of that foundation that you have still allows you to be who you are, and your faith is unwavering, at the end of the day. Culture. That's all I got to say.
Thank you so much.
Man, look here. You welcome.
That means everything. Thank you.
Look, There it is. There it is. All right. Look, y'all. This has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I have been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. Follow me all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Y'all getting this gospel. This ain't no interview. This is gospel today. All right, y'all. Y'all just like, man, y'all just gonna have to accept it, okay? But y'all gonna get this gospel interview plus other great interviews. Talasia, I thank you for being my guest. I thank you for coming on this platform. And man, thank you for blessing us with everything you had to say today.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't tell you enough. I've enjoyed this whole interview, and I appreciate you for just allowing me to come on your platform.
Well, look, you family now. So, man, look here. You got to come back. All right.
That's right. I'll be back.
All right. There it is, y'all. We out. Peace.